Ever wonder why some piano pieces just sound more exciting? Well, today I'm revealing the magic behind dotted rhythms that will transform your playing. Many intermediate players struggle with dotted rhythms, especially when tied notes start to get involved. But once you master them, they open up a whole new dimension to your playing. So let's break this down step by step. First, let's understand what dotted notes actually are. When we add a dot after a note, it increases the note's duration by half of its original value. I know, there's math in music. When a dotted quarter note is shown, what it really is a quarter note plus an eighth note tied together. So these two rhythms that we see on the whiteboard equal the same thing. Now, one of the most common rhythm patterns that we have at the intermediate level is actually what's called a dotted eighth-sixteenth pattern, or a dotted eighth note followed by a 16th note. And it looks a little like this. What it sounds like is, notice that the sound is different than if I was to play, say, 2 eighth notes. The dotted rhythm, it really creates tension and release, making the music a lot more dynamic and interesting. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Rosemary, online piano teacher and composer at Must Love Music. If this is helpful, please consider subscribing. It means more than you know. Now, let's take this concept a little further. What happens when we tie a dotted note to another note? This is where many piano students get confused, but it's actually quite straightforward once you understand it. So let's listen to an example where we tie a quarter note to an eighth note. When we tie this quarter note to the dotted eighth note, and then I'm going to end with a 16th note. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a moment. But here it sounds like. Sounds pretty fun, right? The key here is to feel how the tied note extends across the beat, creating a syncopated effect that adds a lot of sophistication to your playing. Struggling to find piano lessons that truly inspire creativity? I'm here to transform that search into a musical journey you'll love. My approach goes beyond traditional piano teaching. You're creating music from day one, not just reading it. You're learning in a way that matches your unique thinking style. We're building skills through fun, engaging activities, not boring drills. With specialized experience teaching neurodivergent students, I create an inclusive environment where everyone can thrive at their own pace. Visit mustlovemusic.ca to discover my personalized approach and experience the joy of creating music your way. Book your free meet and greet to find the perfect program for you. So now that we understand the concept of dotted rhythms, let's see how this works in practice. I'm going to use an excerpt from Stepping Into Sunbeams to demonstrate. I'm going to leave it there. The song's really fun and it does keep with that rhythm. On the whiteboard, I've written in the exact rhythm pattern that we're focusing on, and it repeats 2 times. So notice that our dotted eighth note is followed by a 16th note, and it creates this gorgeous long, short pattern. This creates that characteristic feel that gives music its bounce and energy. We could count this out, but most of my students actually find it much more helpful to just think of these patterns simply as long, short, rather than getting caught up in the technical counting. This approach makes dotted rhythms much more accessible, and it also means that regardless of the dotted rhythm, if it has the longer note first and the shorter note second, you can use this for any dotted rhythm, this pattern, or this verbal pattern. Are you seeing how magical dotted rhythms can be, especially when combined with those tied notes? These patterns aren't just technical exercises, they're building blocks that make music truly expressive and captivating. Plus, these rhythmic skills will serve you in classical pieces, pop songs, jazz, and even your own improvisations. Do you want to combine these new rhythmic skills with another essential piano technique? Head over to my video on hand independence, where you're going to learn to coordinate different rhythms between your hands. Thanks and happy playing.